The first start was the eye-opener, like, oh my God, we've actually done it. And I've enjoyed building it from day one. I've always liked that side of things. It gets like all your friends together and that you all help each other out. I wouldn't have been able to do it without my friends. Hi, I'm Matt and this is my 2001 2JZ Toyota Chaser. Before this car, I owned I first started off with an MX-5, ended up boosting that, then moved on to an S14, eventually moved on to this. But with buying cars that was already sort of messed with, I wanted something that was like a clean slate, like untouched, and everything I could do, I put my own sort of spin on it. It wasn't in the country for very long before I came to get it. You could eat your dinner off of it. You can still see the zinc plating on all the bolts. Being fresh off the boat from Japan, it was a really good base to do something to, and it's took me quite a while to get it to the state it's at now. Exterior wise, it's got a chrome body kit, lip kit, sorry. Doesn't need much to make them look good. Most Chasers look the same, but mine looks a little bit different, I like to think, because it's not got the generic body kit on it, what they all put on them. It's set on 18-inch VSKFs, pretty hot boy wheels. Yeah, they suit the car very well. It's now got a 2JZ, 3-litre straight 6, as most people will know what that is, a big single turbo conversion. Now it boasts a 2JZ single turbo, custom manifold from Top Gear Performance and exhaust, forward-facing intake manifold, and then the boost pipes all stainless steel pie cut, courtesy of AO Fabrications. It's got 1000cc D-Works injectors, R35 coil pack conversion, ARP head studs, thicker head gasket, new oil pump, all new OEM gaskets all round. Link ECU, Pulsar Turbo, GTX 3584 RS, external wastegate, 45mm external wastegate from Go Fast Bits. Gearbox sat behind the 2J, it's a 530D gearbox out of a 530D BMW. With it being a diesel gearbox, it can hold a lot more power. Yeah, the R154 is what came in the Chasers. They're very expensive, and it made sense to make this fit. Suspension wise, it's got BC coilovers with pretty ridiculous spring rates. I think I can't remember if it's 16k on back and 18k on front. It's not bad. It sounds bad, but it's not, because it's like a big heavy car. It handles it quite well. The diff, it's got a GT86 LSD. They fit right in. Interior wise, it's got an option drift bucket seat in it, and a likewise steering wheel, doubled in head unit from Sony, just your usual mod cons, and a Cooler Works shifter. Yes, it's the original factory colour. Everyone thinks it's black, but it's not. It's a really like deep green. You can only really tell that in natural light. I fell in love with the colour. I was thinking about changing the colour to a different, but now I had a few things painted, and when I saw it fresh, I was like, yeah, that's staying like that. The front wings, they're aftermarket D-Max ones. They're a bit wider than standard because I had a bit of an upsie with the old ones, with the stock steel ones. I was turning into just a shop car park. Tyre grabbed hold of the wing and it ended up folding it on the inside, and it was beyond repair, so I had to buy some wider ones to compensate. And still, even with the lock kit on it now, they still touch and rub a little bit, so I might have to get some more wider ones. The purpose of the car is just for my own enjoyment, and I've enjoyed building it from day one. I've always liked that side of things. I mean, the shows, I like them, but I don't like it as much as building something and having something to show for. It gets like all your friends together and that you all help each other out and push each other along and really see what you can all achieve, and it's come a long way. I wouldn't have been able to do it without my friends. Most proud of the car for just being reliable as it has been, because it's like the engine's been totally apart, and me and my friend, we've done it all ourselves, and the first start was the eye-opener, like, oh my God, we've actually done it, because it's, you know, by no means are we mechanics at all. We're basically self-taught, and from coming from the MX-5 all the way up to this, it's been a real help to get up to this sort of level. The biggest difficulty, what we faced when we built this car, was probably the wiring. With it being the NA version of the 1J, there was no diagrams to go off of. It's got a full custom loom. We made it. It's literally only got the main things that you need to go in the engine to make it work. So it's like an external loom from the body loom. So the starter motor's on a separate button, separate push button to start it. The fuel pump is, but everything else works as well on the inside, because it's run on a separate unit and fuse box. Yeah, so this is a JZX100 chaser. There's 3 versions of the JZX pretty much each year, apart from the ones after these. There's the Cresta, the Chaser, and the Mark II. The Mark II being the base model, the Cresta being like the luxury model with because these have the pillarless doors, as well as the Mark II, sorry. But the Crestas have pillar doors, so there's like a more luxurious, more sound deadening. Trying to get parts it's pretty bad and expensive, especially like OEM body parts. Aftermarket stuff's not too bad. I've not really had to buy much OEM stuff for it, because a lot of stuff's like off the shelf, and especially JZ stuff, it's all readily available nowadays. It's quite an easy platform to get bits for. I don't drive it that often. I do have a daily car, what I use day to day, because in all fairness, it is a pain in the arse to drive because of the clutch. But it's mainly for shows, and if me and my friends want, and it's a nice weekend, we'll go out and go for a rip in the cars. When I drive the car, it's a lot of people on the street in public, and that they don't know what it is. So I think it turns heads, but they're like, "What's that?" Because I don't think many people have seen one before, but they're getting a lot more common nowadays. Going forward with the car, I think I just tidy it up a bit more. Add a few more paint bits to it, which it's an old car. Whatever, I think most cars do need bits here and there. Definitely a different clutch to make it a bit more drivable. But apart from that, no, I don't really want much more power. I don't want anything else. It's a lot for the road. It's enough for me. When I first bought the car, it came with a Lexus GS300, which had the 2J in it. So I thought, when I went to buy the car, I saw it advertised on eBay. I thought it was just for the Chaser, but it wasn't. It was for 2 cars. So I ended up walking away with both cars, but basically the Lexus was just a donor for the engine, because this was originally a naturally aspirated 1J with automatic gearbox. So it was always the plan to put the 2J in it and make it fast and cool. Horsepower is 550. Not sure about the top speed, because the clocks only say 180 kilometers being an import, but it's never done any more than 70. On the motorway cruising, it sits at about 60 mile an hour, which with the gearbox, especially because it's a diesel, it has a quite short ratio, but it accelerates really fast with that.